Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is SockBot, and today I know that you may recognize this site if you've been here for a while, but if you haven't, this is my lazy, I didn't have time to set up my camera today, setup, and that also means I didn't have time to set up a mic, so sorry for the weird quality. But yeah, today I wanted to do a sort of reflection video on my previous video, which was about the 1 hour challenge that I threw out with no context or preface, and well, a lot of you seem to enjoy that, and some of you seem to not realize that I did create that within an hour, and obviously wasn't great. But today I wanted to reflect on that a little bit and talk about what I learned and why I would strongly recommend that a lot of people do try this challenge, because I found it incredibly helpful for a multitude of reasons. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. If you do like this sort of video, feel free to leave a like down below, and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. But yeah, obviously no pressure on that, because, well, you're not going to subscribe if you don't want to. Just anyways, let's get right into the video. So I wanted to talk about my last video because I feel like I kind of just threw it out there with no context, but I've been planning on doing this for like a long time. It was one of the first video ideas I ever wrote down, and I think I was just kind of waiting to see when the right time for it was, and I feel like now that I've had some experience with dreams, well, a year of experience-ish, and I've kind of learned how to get the basics down and how to do some of the more advanced stuff, it was a good time to do this. So I think that the hour challenge for me was incredibly useful in terms of assessing where I am as a creator. And obviously I know that I have some experience, I'm used to the controls, and I'm miles ahead of where I was when I started and like had so many issues just moving things around the space. But now that I know I'm past that, this is a better assessment of where I am in terms of my proficiency with those tools. I know I can use them now, but how quickly can I use them, and what are the things that I'm getting caught up about? And all of those different details are something that I was able to see through this hour-long challenge. I was able to see what I'm doing really well on, which I think is just easy sculpts and general placement of objects, which I know sounds really basic, but I wasn't there a year ago, and so that was wonderful to see. And it also reminded me how I'm actually doing a pretty good job of following my own advice and not getting caught up on the tech side of things and not getting caught up on sculpting too much by using a lot of community objects. And at the same time, it reinforced the thing that I've been preaching on this channel all the time, which is that you should definitely be using community objects because they're good, and because you don't need to recreate a tree every time you make a new level. Now, obviously create some of your own assets, and this hour challenge is obviously not meant to be a super personalized, perfect level, but it reminded me that I am pretty good at following my own advice sometimes. But that was more of my own assessment. I think that for anybody out there that wants to try this or has any interest in kind of just assessing where they are, I say go ahead and try it. And one of the biggest rules that I had for this challenge was that I had to finish the level within an hour. Even if there were certain parts that were unfinished, it had to have a completable level from beginning to end. And that's why I chose a platformer, because that seems to be one of the easier types of levels to create within Dreams. But doing it that way basically meant that everything in between was something that I could accomplish within an hour. And so it gave me a really good assessment as to the pace of my creating and also as to the quality of my creating. Now, obviously, it was with assets that I found online, but that's not the bigger issue here. All of those assets can exist, and you can have a bajillion assets, but the important part of game design is being able to put those assets together. Now, obviously, creating those assets in the first place is a huge part of game design as well. I'm not saying it's not, but for me, who far more enjoys this sort of level building and challenge creating as opposed to asset sculpting and the artistry side of the game creation process, this was a really good way for me to get to this point. Now, obviously, there are a multitude of other reasons for why I found this particularly useful, but now I want to kind of shift gears and talk more about why I would recommend something like this to pretty much anybody that is looking to create or get better at creating within Dreams. Now, if you are an artist or if you have ever tried to master a skill, you may have stumbled upon the like the 5-minute rule, or whatever you have found to call it. But generally, it's about the idea that you spend 5 minutes every day or every few days if you don't have that much time, and you just commit to spending those 5 minutes working on your hobby. So in this case, it was spending 5 minutes working on Dreams, or it would be like that. And obviously this was an hour challenge, and so this is a little bit less time, but I see a huge relation there because the whole point is to make sure you're consistently building that habit to get back into doing your hobby, and in this case, creating within Dreams. And so I think that as opposed to just doing an hour challenge, a great way for anybody that is interested in creating to improve their skills is to do this sort of 5-minute challenge and challenge yourself to make sure you are playing for 5 minutes every day, or every few days if you can't commit to every single day. But generally, you'll end up spending longer than 5 minutes creating. It's just to get you back into creating. And I think that that's great for building that sort of habit. But where the hour challenge comes into it, I think it's a great way to not only have that sort of minimal commitment, but it just works so much better within Dreams because, well, committing to a level is exhausting. I mean, even if you have a great idea, if you commit to a level, you are committing to very likely 20 plus hours working on that level, and that can be really intimidating for a lot of people. And so for committing to 5 minutes or committing to an hour is a lot easier, especially in a thing like Dreams where these projects are so huge. And if you commit to that hour, commit that you're going to finish something within that hour, I think that that is a fantastic way to limit yourself. And limiting yourself does not limit the creation. It just is a great way to stop yourself from getting discouraged. And at the same time, this hour challenge can be used to accomplish a bunch of other tasks in addition to assessing where you are, in addition to just getting you back into the game in general, and in addition to just making you feel good that you were able to finish something within Dreams within the span of an hour, because that sort of satisfaction is what keeps you coming back and what keeps you motivated. At least I would assume that most people do enjoy being motivated when working on stuff like this. But I think that that's all important. The biggest thing to me, though, is that when you're doing this sort of hour challenge, it is allowing you to finish something and to get that satisfaction of finishing something, but it can be used for so many other reasons, like creating something that you don't know you want to commit to a full, like hours and hours and hours to create a full level or a full game based around that, or to just test out a different genre, or to test out a completely different type of game, whether it be third person or first person, or to just try out some assets and see how they work together, even just to create a sort of concept level for something that you may then go on to create, or something that you already know you want to create. I think it's a great idea or a great way to get your ideas out onto a canvas within Dreams. And I'm sure there are a bunch of other ways you could use this hour-long creative thing to help yourself and to create something that you'll be proud of too. But for me, like I said, I think it was mostly just an assessment and kind of a fun challenge. So if for any of these reasons you are interested in trying this out, totally feel free to go. I'm not holding ownership over this idea, especially if any creators out there want to do this. I say go for it. It helped me a lot, and it just, I don't know, it made me like really excited about Dreams. And it's not to say that I'm not, because it does release in a month, and oh my gosh, but I think it kind of refocused my excitement, because as a creator, when it comes to Dreams, you can tell I got a lot of work coming out when the game comes in its entirety. So that anxiety is slowly closing around me. But at least it got me excited about just creating for fun again. But let me know what you guys think. If you have any other challenges that you would recommend, please leave them in the comments down below. If there are any other challenges that I missed, I haven't seen any Dreams-based challenges. Like, I mean, I missed all of those Beauty Guru challenges back in the day, so figured, you know, let's make our own. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any challenges for me, let me know. But otherwise, have a wonderful day. And I hope you like this reflecting video. But for now, goodbye.